Hi everybody, it's Sandra from the Funky Pickle. Thank you so much for coming to my video today. So I had a pretty amazing thing happen to me a couple of days ago. Somebody got in touch with me who's selling out the contents from a jewelry store they own. It's not just a jewelry store they owned, it's actually a vintage jewelry store that they own. So I'm finding some Victorian pieces. I got a little bit of real gold. I got some really cool stuff. So this video, I'm going to go probably a little bit deeper than I usually go on some of these pieces because they're very different. They're very interesting. Many of them are over 100 years old. So, but I want to tell you a little bit of a story. And this was in a town. I'm traveling right now. It's a whole long story. It's not important. What is important is this. I'm leaving this place and I have a bracelet that I don't know anything about. It's completely out of my wheelhouse. And as I'm driving away, I noticed like maybe a mile away from the place where I was buying this jewelry, there was a little shop and it said jeweler on it. And it said antique jewelry and antiques and fine antiques and this kind of a thing. So I walked in and he has a very small little place. The guy's a jeweler. He's like a curmudgeon, I guess. That is putting it so very, very kindly. Anyway, his stuff was way out of my range, but he was very knowledgeable and he was sort of showing off for me. You know, he was saying, well, you know, that vase that these earrings are on, that's a $50,000 vase. And these earrings here are $7,000. And he's telling me about these pieces and he's saying, you know, how much money he has and how much money his stuff is and how he's been a jeweler for 25 years. And I get it. He knew what he was talking about. I do believe he knew what he was talking about, but he was a little bit gruff. And as I'm standing there, it wasn't the purpose of me walking in. I was hoping I could buy some jewelry. That's the only reason I was there. I said to him, you know, I have a bracelet in the car I'm interested about. I would love for you to just take a look at it. So I bring in this bracelet that I had just paid for. So my feeling is that this is likely scrimshaw. And as we go, as I'm done and I'm going to put the, you know, I'll put the camera facing the other direction. We'll get some nice close-ups on this. I think this might be scrimshaw. So I just said to him, can you give me any information like of age or anything like that? And he said, what do you want for this bracelet? Name your price. So I said, well, I'm not really selling it. I really am just hoping for the information because I don't know anything about it. And he said, he opened up his drawer and he said, I will give you $1,200 for it right now. Yes or no. And I thought about it because I paid $3 for it and I need the money too. You know, I like money. I like selling things for a big profit. And it would have been cash. And I said no. And he got really upset with me. And like really upset and, you know, said, look, you know, I don't like dealing with people like you. You only want to buy from me, but you don't want to sell me what I really want. And, you know, if you put it on eBay, you're going to get 28 bucks for it and you're going to be so sorry. And that sort of a vibe, you know. So, look, he doesn't bother me. I mean, I lived in New York City for a long time. And I also had a father who was kind of a crusty old guy on the outside. So I'm not sweating him for 1 second. It's not like that. So anyhow, I don't know if I'm going to regret it. I think that if this is scrimshaw, which it must be, I think it's illegal to sell anyway. So I don't know. I'm just curious what you would have done. Yeah, I was tempted to take the money, but I just thought, if you want it this badly and you're strong arming me to this degree, maybe I have something really, really valuable on my hands. And I don't want $1,200 because although I would love to have the money and I would love spending the money and I could have a lot of fun with that money for sure, I think it would bother me till the day I die, not knowing if I actually had something of real value for once, by the way, you know, something real that you'd go on Antiques Roadshow and somebody, you know, would make the TV show. I don't know. Anyhow, that's the decision I made. We're going to get into this jewelry. I'm going to show you one more piece and then we're going to put the camera on. We're going to go the other way. I'll show you real close-up shots. This was $35. And I bought this because I figured that I would be able to sell this for more. I'm thinking I could get $100 or more for this. This is, of course, Bakelite from the 40s. I'm sure most people will know that. But what's interesting is this mane that is this gold tone work. I've never seen anything like that. I'm having a hard time even finding this. I can find it a couple of places on the internet, but interestingly, when I see it, and then you click when you click on the link, it says this link no longer works. So I can't get any information on it. But I thought for $35, and this is how my brain works a lot in these places, I thought, well, if I can't get a lot of money for this, I certainly can't imagine a scenario where I wouldn't be able to get my $35 back. That much is for sure. Anyhow, so hang out with me today. We're really going to have a lot of fun. I went back the next day and I bought a lot more pieces, and I'm going back on Monday and I'm going to buy more pieces still. So I'm not sure how many parts this whole collection is going to be, but please stay with me. I think you're going to find some cool stuff. Please hit the subscribe button. I don't have that many subscribers and I really desperately need them. So it is free for you to just hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it so much. Stick around. Let's have some fun. So before we get started, I just want to take care of a little bit of business here. I showed this crazy ring on part 3 of my favorite jewelry finds from 2020, and somebody said they wanted to see it on my finger. So there you go. So either you love it or you hate it. There's no middle ground on this, but see how I can bend my finger? It's very interesting. It's not that uncomfortable. It is very heavy. That is true. Now, I play piano. I don't think I would be playing piano with this on or anything. Let me put it the other way, because it can actually be worn the other way too. I'm not sure which way is better. Hold on. This is also a cool look. Hey, it almost looks like a dragon this way. Whoa, that's pretty cool. So, anyway, that's my controversial ring that some people hate and think is completely horrible, and some people think is super cool. And it is art, and it's really weird, and I'd love to have some more information on it. It is sterling, and yeah, so there you go. What do you think? Should I quit my day gig and become a hand model? Anybody want like a wrinkled old lady hand? I'm your woman. Anyway. Well, there she blows. What do you think? It's really pretty nicely done, I think. I said to my husband, you know, I can always go back to him another time. And he said, oh, he'll never give you the money for it now. And my husband said, you know, maybe he wasn't even going to give it to you in the first place. He sounds like there's just a lot of BS going on here. So I don't know, but if anybody does, please tell me if this is, you know, maybe a thing, as they say. Interestingly, it's really some beautiful workmanship. I would think this bracelet part, I don't know, it looks sort of pre-World War II, maybe World War II, but this part could be much older. Gosh, I just don't know, of course. And interestingly, now this is not real silver. This is likely German silver. It's also called nickel silver. So that is made with copper, nickel, and zinc. It was invented in the early 1800s. So it has a couple of things that people like about it. It's malleable, it's light, and of course it doesn't tarnish because there is no silver in it. Anyway, this is, yeah, I really like that whale tail right there. So here is this very interesting Bakelite horse. I thought this was worth $35. This is outstanding. So I'm going to put this one up on my eBay page right away, the Funky Pickle store. I do like Bakelite, but yeah, I'm probably just going to let this go and let someone else enjoy it. It's in nice condition. And I believe this is called milk chocolate Bakelite. Well, I'm a big lover of Victorian jewelry, and I'm also a really big lover of mourning jewelry, and this is a Victorian mourning piece. And how beautiful is this? So here is the old C clasp, of course, and it's called that because it's just shaped like the letter C. And this has an old hinge on it, right? This part's called the pin, this part's called the hinge, this is the catch. So if you take a look at this hinge, you might notice it's very, very wide. That's called a tube hinge, and that helps us to date this. But you know, when you're dating jewelry, you always want to look at several factors. I've seen newer pieces with a C clasp for sure. I don't know about a tube hinge, but it certainly is possible. So the first thing that struck me when I saw this is the style of it. So one thing, like if you're just learning about jewelry, so you learn to sort of recognize, you know, like, would you find this in Chico's today? No, this is not a style that you would probably see today. It is, it just has an old-fashioned look to it, this starburst look. And the black, of course, is a clue that it may be a mourning piece, which this one is. And this chain here, you can see that this was probably machine turned around these circles. I don't think that was hand carved necessarily. But this middle starburst certainly was. And so the other thing that I'm going to notice right away is that this is not real gold. I always use my eyes first, and you can see there is a little bit of loss of gold there. You might not actually be able to see that, but there is. So this is simply gold plated. So the third thing I'm going to tell you about this that you would not know unless you're holding it is it's very, very light. It's light and it's also warm to the touch. So if it's warm to the touch, it's not glass, it's not stone. So now the next thing is I have to try to figure out what this is made out of. So let's turn it over and see if we can find some clues. So that's not plastic. You see those little porous bits there? A lot of mourning pieces and black pieces of jewelry in this time frame are gutta percha. Gutta percha is a little bit shinier than this. It doesn't feel like gutta percha. It's certainly not jet, and it's definitely not French jet. Is it vulcanite? Is it pressed horn? So I believe this is a piece of bog oak. Bog oak was something that was found in Ireland, and it's a very old fossilized wood. And it turns out that it made really lovely jewelry and very lovely mourning jewelry. And it was sort of like a trend in the day. So most of us know that Queen Victoria was very in love with her husband Albert, and they did not have a perfect marriage. She kept very, very detailed diaries throughout her whole life. But I think there really was a very, very deep love there, even though they did argue and fight. And when he died, she remained in mourning for the rest of her life, and fashion magazines were really coming into their own in the Victorian times. She wore black jewelry, and it became kind of a trendy thing. And so this is just an incredibly, incredibly lovely piece of jewelry. I love this. I can't tell you how much I love this piece of jewelry. And it always makes me wonder who wore it and why, and who lost who, and you know, I hope they had a happy life. So, speaking of mourning jewelry, this is pretty amazing. I am a Victorian jewelry collector, but I don't pay a lot of money for the stuff I get. I so very rarely pay up. And again, up for me is $30 or $70. I don't go higher than that usually. Very, very, very rarely. So this is human hair. And this is, of course, a mourning brooch also. It's very tightly woven. Now, in Victorian times, you could get kits and you could do this yourself. And it became a little bit of a cottage industry for housewives in the Victorian times. And I know you can watch YouTube videos and stuff like that and how to do it. I think you have to shampoo the hair, and then I think you treat it with like starch-like stuff, and then you put it on a holder and you braid it. There's like a whole thing. And jewelers of the day, you could go in and buy these sort of blanks. I have a couple of blanks that don't have hair in them, but this one does. So this certainly looks like it's 9-karat gold, doesn't it? And it isn't. And again, I don't need a magnet. I don't need to test this. I can tell with my eyes because I'm going to look on the wear spots and see where the gold has rubbed off. And you're not going to be able to see it, but the gold has rubbed off in certain spots. So this is not real gold. This is gold filled. Of course, gold filled doesn't really mean that it's filled. Gold filled means that the gold is on the outside of the piece. And that's why it looks exactly like real gold, because it is in fact real gold, but it's just a very, very thin sheet of real gold, and it has rubbed away throughout the years. So this is probably from the 1890s, I would think. Maybe the very, very early 1900s, maybe as old as the 1880s, but this is so beautiful. Mourning jewelry is very, very special to me. I think it's a very serious thing. This isn't something I would joke around about or, you know, wear to a big celebration or anything like that. You know, this was
This was jewelry that was all about somebody's loved ones, and I give these pieces a very good home, and I'm so very excited to have this. This is, of course, just glass on top, and there's 2 pieces of mourning jewelry I got. Let's move on. So I'm going to jump around a little bit. I do have some more Victorian pieces, but maybe some people are bored by the Victorian pieces. So I love all kinds of jewelry from many different time spans. So we're just going to move right now into the 50s, I'm guessing. These are very, very interesting thermoset earrings. So this thermoset is a type of plastic, and it's actually moon glow thermoset. And you can see the way the light sort of plays around in there. And just look at these stones inside. So when they look like they're upside down like that, that's called Rivoli. And I love Rivoli stones. And there's something very fascinating even about this shape. It's sort of like an eye shape. And I think is that called an ellipse or something? I think that's what it's called. I can't remember my geometry lessons. It was very long ago. I went to school with Abraham Lincoln. Did you know that? But anyway, I love these, and I'll tell you one thing to me that is sort of striking is that they're white, and then the stone is also white, and I just think that's very interesting and very cool. And they're not marked. I don't know if they're Coro. I'm not really sure who they are, if anybody, but yeah, I think these are really, really beautiful. So here's a really sweet item. This is, of course, sterling silver. You can probably tell that right away, right? If you're new to jewelry, once you start handling it a lot more, you kind of get a feel for it, for how it looks and for how it feels. This is very light. It's very thin. And let's take a look at the mark right here. So you can see it says Bell, and it's inside a bell. So that stands for the Bell Trading Company. And they were based in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and they ran from the 30s to the late 60s. So this is a very interesting horse, I guess. Is it a donkey? Is it a horse? Do donkeys have manes? I don't know. It's really cute, though. And so this is something that would be considered, of course, figural jewelry. And you can sort of name what it is, right? Unlike this is just sort of a geometric piece of jewelry. This is figural. So there are people who collect Bell Trading Company stuff that does have a collector's market. They didn't only make sterling. They also made copper, nickel, silver. I even think some gold pieces. And I just think he's very cute. So he's not only figural, I would also call him a little bit whimsical, because it's not really like he's a realistic looking donkey or horse or whatever he is. But isn't he cute the way he's trotting like that? Very adorable item. I love this. So I would doubt that there's a person watching this video right now who doesn't love this. I mean, what is not to love about this? This is an awesome 1950s, maybe early 1960s brooch. And I love the combination of red and pink together. Some are this Aurora Borealis. So that was a coating that was invented in the mid-50s. It's controversial. Some people say it was 54. Some people say it was 57. So we always just say mid-50s, you know, ish. And I love that when you have some that are ABs and some that are not. Of course, AB is short for Aurora Borealis. This is not signed, but look at how nicely made it is in the back with these sort of swirly, curly Q bits. I love this. I love bouquets of flowers, and I love pink and red. It's in pretty nice shape. There's a little bit of scratching here and there to the AB, which is to be expected, of course. This is a lovely, lovely little brooch. So this is a fantastic bracelet. I love this bracelet. I bet you also love this bracelet. And one thing you can see right away when you just observe it, and when you look at it, when you're looking through jewelry, if you see something like this, it's very mod. It's very sort of severe and geometric and interesting. And I don't know if this is real or not. I'm not sure what that silver is, what that gold is rather underneath. But it's a pretty cool cuff bracelet. I really like it. So right away, this looks very 60s or 70s to me. And it is signed. I'm going to show you. There it is. So it's signed by Pierre Cardin. So I know Pierre Cardin was a designer and a clothing designer and really big in the 70s and the 60s. And I have searched for comps on this. I can't find it. I use Google Lens. I tried to ask a couple of Facebook groups. Nobody has an idea. Nobody can find one exactly like this. But some of these do sell for money that's in the hundreds, in the mid hundreds, but not this exact one. So I definitely have to do some more research on this. But it's so futuristic, very, very cool. And I just have to try to figure out exactly what it is, and I will probably be selling this because, you know, the older stuff and the Victorian stuff is kind of more my thing. This isn't really my thing. I would love to have somebody else enjoy this, and boy, I would really like to get a whole bunch of money for this too, because I think it's worth it. It's really collectible, and it will probably just go up in value because people do collect Pierre Cardin. Okay. So here's another piece of Bakelite, of course. You can probably tell right away that it's Bakelite. And this is a dress clip. This is carved Bakelite. This one is a darker brown than the other one. I don't know if this is called dark chocolate or not. If this other one's called milk chocolate, but it said made in the USA. This is a dress clip. So dress clips usually came in pairs, but I know people collect them. I think this is very, again, it looks sort of futuristic. It just is very kind of cool looking the way those lines are going. I just love that. So let's just compare the color of the horse so we can take a look at the two Bakelite colors together. Yeah, they're both beautiful. They're both brown, but they're both very different. So here is a true piece of fruit salad jewelry. I believe fruit salad jewelry is supposed to incorporate different color rhinestones and also some carved rhinestones. So you have some different textures, different shapes, different textures. I mean, just like a bowl of fruit would have. When they have fake pearls in them, I think that's called fruit jewelry with marshmallows or something like that, which is a really cute name, I think. Anyhow, this is fruit salad. It isn't signed by anybody. This one is much, much prettier than my camera is making it look. It really, really is beautiful in person. It's not translating through, so I'm sorry about that. I'm also sorry I have a paper cut, so I hope that Band-Aid isn't like making anybody wild. So when I see items like this, I will get them usually. Sometimes they turn out to be real gold, and this is something that was given to an employee. So these employee pieces I do like to get because yeah, sometimes they can just be worth a bunch of money. Okay, so here's the piece of gold I got. I believe this is 18 karat gold. It just feels it to me. This is a little piece. I'll put a quarter next to it so you can really see. Not a big deal, not a lot of weight. I think that's why she sold it. You know, she wasn't that concerned about it. I'm sure if there was any real gold of big pieces, she would have pulled it out. But so one thing I noticed is this bail is very ornate. See how there's like hieroglyphics on the bail. So anyhow, I didn't see a mark on it yet. I see something's there, but it doesn't say 18 karat, I don't think. Anyway, I'm going to test this, but I am really 99.9% sure that this is 18 karat gold. So this will be something that I will just make money on. I don't know, I might be able to get 150 bucks for this or something like that. So I am going to sell this one right away. It's very beautiful. She's in great shape. I believe this is the Egyptian goddess Isis. And yeah, she's beautiful. So what do you think about this little playful poodle? Look at this. Monet was $5. Here's the number, $15.90. How beautiful is this? I love dog jewelry. I love cat jewelry. I love a lot of figural stuff and animal stuff. And this is in perfect shape. Never worn. So I thought that was quite a nice find. This is probably from the 1960s. Very cute. He is a cute fella. So one thing I noticed right away when I saw this little froggy is that he looked really different and unusual, and he has these cool eyes. He has some little rhinestones around his eyes, but this was something I had never seen before. I've seen a lot of jewelry. I've seen a lot of frogs, and it is actually signed Jomaz. So Jomaz stands for Joseph Mazer, and he started a jewelry company in the 1920s. It is a very desirable name brand of jewelry to look out for. So I don't know, like this frog is pretty cool and pretty special, But I don't think I'm probably going to get the big bucks for him, but I might be able to get 30 or 35 for him, which would be fine. I just think he's pretty handsome, isn't he? He looks like mad. He looks kind of like that guy in the jewelry store now that I think about it. Except he's cute. So here's an interesting item. I don't think this is a bracelet. I think these were just loose beads that somebody put on this thread right here. This looks an awful lot like butterscotch amber, but I don't think it is. I'm not sure what this is. I know it doesn't fluoresce. Let me know if you know what this is. But check this out too. Now, I'm not a turquoise person either. So, but this seems like this might be a very, very old piece of turquoise now, especially knowing that I got it from this place where there's a lot of Victorian pieces. So I'm not sure about this. I don't know if there's a market for this kind of thing. I don't even know what kind of turquoise this is. If there's any turquoise experts out there and you have any light to shed on this, please do. And I don't know, maybe these are amber beads. I don't even know if they're worth anything. I just bought all this stuff, so I really haven't had a chance to do a lot of research, but I thought that was kind of a cool piece. And like I said, probably does not go together. So the other challenge when we're looking through huge lots of jewelry is, you know, I'm also trying to be fast because that woman doesn't feel like just standing there for 15 hours while I take everything out and I agonize over it. You know, I have to make very quick choices, very quick calls. And I wasn't sure what the price was. She just said, you know, grab a bunch of stuff. Here's some boxes. Look through these. Tell me what you want and I'll give you a price. So I didn't really even know what the prices were. Like I said, I did go back the next day and I got more, and I am going back on Monday to get even more, and I might have to go back another day because she has a lot of boxes of stuff. But anyway, I thought these were very sweet Maltese cross scatter pins, and these are copper, as you can see. No maker's mark. There is a patent number there. I could look that up and Google search that and get a date for this, but I would think this is probably from the 40s. And these are just cute little scatter pins. I don't know. I was really attracted to them. Probably not a lot of resale value, but I thought that they were very cute. So I have already a lot of these scarab bracelets. I love scarab bracelets. I don't have any that are real golds. This is probably just gold filled, but I love scarab. It is actually a dung beetle. So dung beetles, I think when they're born, well, they eat dung basically. So sorry, I hope you didn't just eat your lunch. But that's what I think they live on. So I think the mother, when she gives birth to the eggs, she like surrounds them with dung, and then they have to like fight their way out through eating it, and it's pretty disgusting. So anyway, I guess on the upside, the Egyptians thought that it was a beautiful thing, and so scarabs have come to mean a lot of things, but they really did represent rebirth, life, the circle of life, and so on. But here's what the selling point is right here. Sorry, I have black chihuahuas. That this is new with the tag, and so I thought this was very interesting. Amco Jewels, Romance of the Scarab, Providence, Rhode Island. Of course, Providence, Rhode Island was really the hot spot. That's where a lot of jewelers were in the day. So let's see, Romance of the Scarab. I bet you it won't say that dung part, but anyway. Scarabs carved from genuine stone date back to the 6th dynasty of ancient Egyptian history. Khepera, the creator, as the genuine stone scarab was known, is symbolic of good luck, happiness, and lasting love. And rebirth. And rebirth, Amco Jewels. Today, as in the distant past, scarabs carved of genuine stone are worn by discriminating people everywhere. Well, I'm discriminating. So I've never seen one with a tag before, so that's why I got this. See, the light comes through. These are actually really pretty. That nice? You've probably seen these before, right? Yeah, cool item. These are always cool. So here's another little novelty pin, a figural pin, a whimsical pin. I've never seen a turtle that had an aqua colored shell before. Nice big red eyes. So we turn this over. It is a crown Trifari. So you see that right over that T, there is a crown, and then there's a copyright symbol after the word Trifari. So that signature right there will help us date this. This is from 1955 to 1969 specifically. This is in great condition. Now, I've seen a lot of Trifari jewelry in my lifetime. In fact, I own a lot of Trifari jewelry. I've never seen this little guy, so I thought maybe he would resell for me for something. I think he is just darling. How cute is that? So much fun. How about this guy? Now, he's not marked, but he's likely from the 60s or the 50s. And he's very fun. Oh, is he marked? Hey, wait a second. Let me try to see what that says. Hold on. Let's see if we can figure this out. Let me look with my loop. Hold on. So that mark is so illegible. It looks like it says HIIII. I have no idea what that is. If you know what it is, please let me know. I would love to know who he is. But he's a whole lot of fun too. Very unusual. I like his colors. I like his eyes. I like everything about this guy. Now you may notice, of course, he has glass eyes. And they're not facet cut. They are what's called cabochon. People call those cab for short, cab stones. And that's opposed to this. These are faceted. See, those aren't all rounded and smooth like these are. Let's talk about this. So what do you think? Can't you tell right away that this is quality? Yeah. And it's also very 1940s. Just stylistically, you can tell it's 40s. I love it. I love this so much. And it is marked right there. So you probably can't read it, but it says 1/20th 12 karat gold filled. So what that means, and sometimes those are different. It's a different fraction. It's a different carat. It can be 10 karat, 14 karat. Well, let's talk about this first. So jewelry, usually the metals in jewelry starts out as a bar. From the bar, if you could picture like a big bar of metal, it's rolled into sheets, and that's how most jewelry is made. You know, not chains, not all jewelry, but most jewelry starts from sheets of metal. So you have your base metal, and then you, on top of that, put a very, very thin sheet of real gold on top. So this is like a mark that will tell you that the weight of the piece, not including these stones or the pin part, of course, the weight of this piece has to legally be 1/20th of the weight of this piece will be 12 karat gold. And that is a guarantee. And it also came with a pair of earrings. So when you have two pieces that match, that's referred to as a demi parure. So you can also have a full parure, which is also called a suite. But when you have only two pieces, it's called a demi parure. And some people just say demi. But here's the mark. You might be able to read it a little bit easier on the back of these earrings. There it is. 1/20, 12 karat gold filled. Anyhow, I love the color. I love these reds. There's no missing stones. Ah, my chihuahuas. Isn't that so pretty? I love this. No maker's mark. Don't know who made it. I love this sort of curly ribbon. I just think this is so very girly and so feminine and so very 1940s. I love this. How much do you wish these were real diamonds? I know I do. They are marked China on the back, and they are not real diamonds, but I think these are really nicely made. I don't even know. It's got to be at least sterling, you would think, but I didn't see a mark in them. I just bought these to wear. And, you know, they're frankly fake, as they say. They're just beautiful. I love these. And, you know, I don't usually go for elegant looking jewelry like this. And I usually go for sort of more dramatic and the bigger pieces and the more unusual things. But for some reason, I'm just very much in love with these earrings. And I'm going to enjoy wearing these. So I bought these for myself to wear. And yeah, a little part of me was hoping they were real. That's for sure. But these weren't going to get past a jewelry store owner. That's for sure. Those are beautiful, though. So what do you think about this guy? He's a very interesting giraffe, and his neck is knotted. I don't know why that is. He's kind of cute. He is marked Brookcraft Sterling. So I don't know if you can tell, but right away, this was very obviously sterling, and it's very obviously very cute, too. And I think somebody might enjoy this. I thought it was kind of weird. Anyway, what do you think? Pretty cute, right? I like his mouth. Adorable. So I bought these earrings just as moneymaker earrings. I thought maybe somebody might like to have these. They are signed Napier. And I really like Napier stuff a lot. I've sold a lot of it. There is a big collector's market for it. And it turns out, I don't know how valuable these are, but if I got 10 or 15, that would be fine with me. They're in beautiful, beautiful condition. I love this brushed gold. And these are just great, really super fancy earrings from the 80s. So here's another nice piece of antique jewelry. This is a very pretty bar pin. And so let's take a look at it. There's the C clasp. So you may observe right away that this pin does not come out past the piece, which if it did, it might be a Victorian piece. And also, let's take a look at this hinge. This hinge is much, much skinnier than the other one. So let's just take a look and let's A-B them. So this is a tube hinge. This is a much tightened up, much smaller hinge. And so the other thing that I notice about this is it is so unbelievably light. This is very light. I don't know if this is some sort of aluminum or if this is again the German silver, which of course isn't silver. It's very shiny too, and it is marked with an R. So I don't know if it's rhodium plated. This one is a mystery to me. Now those also look a little bit like marcasites, but they aren't. They're just sort of this smoky gray, I guess, quartz crystal kind of a thing. Anyway, I just don't know what to make of this. I know I love it. I love bar pins. I know this is definitely old for sure. And I think it's a very, very interesting piece. So I knew I shouldn't have bought this, but I couldn't stop myself. This is clearly handmade. And these are old buttons. These are old mother of pearl buttons. You have 1, 2, 3, and then this on top. Now that must have been a little pin at one time, and I think that's just so beautiful, all hand painted. Look at the purple. I don't know, I just loved it. I know it probably doesn't have any value, but I don't know, I wouldn't mind wearing it. I think it's just so very lovely. So somebody did this as a craft, I guess. I don't know when. So here's a piece I picked out that I just think is so lovely. This is definitely an antique. I would put this probably in the early 1900s, maybe the 1910s. It might be as new as the 20s. I don't think so though. But here's the obligatory C clasp. A nice skinny hinge. The pin is longish, right? It goes out a tiny bit past the brooch itself. And this is probably brass. But I think this is so pretty. I love these prongs here. I just think that is absolutely beautiful. Very, very girly, very old-fashioned, and I love it. Very breakable too. So this is glazed porcelain, but I love pink and green together. And what kind of flowers are those? Does anybody know? Are those dogwood flowers or something? I don't know, but I think these are, this is a very, very, very pretty piece. So I got these 3 crosses. They're all pendants. This is a very sweet little enamel cross. Nice and light. This is probably, I don't know, 60s or 70s. I thought that was just charming. And then this one, so this is obviously, as soon as I pick it up, as soon as I even look at it, I know it's sterling silver, and I love marcasites. So there's the mark, $9.25. So you can't make anything out of 100% silver. It's too soft, it's too malleable, it's just not strong enough. So silver is, and same with gold, it is always mixed with different types of metals, and so it's 925 parts per thousand silver. And so we just call that sterling. So sterling silver is 925. I've seen 900, 980, 800, but 925, that's sort of the standard that we all know and love. So I thought that was pretty. I don't know if that's old. I thought maybe I could sell that for more than the $3 I spent for it. But this cross is really beautiful and really special. And I just want to show you this bail. Hold on, let me fix it. See, the bail is like the best part. Isn't that so nice? So that's probably a real amethyst. Amethyst is just a purple quartz. And that is onyx. And oh, I just think this is so pretty. And of course it's sterling. And there's the mark right there, 925. I love this. Something very, very pretty about it. It's kind of delicate and it's kind of bold at the same time. Very nice. So there are a lot of people who collect crowns. This is a nice crown. This is a Napier crown. And it is missing a little stone right there, which I will try to replace. And I thought this was maybe something else, again, that I could just make a little bit of money on. Not sure. Worst case, you know, I like crowns myself, so I may be keeping this. Not sure yet. This cat has a secret. His head is on this little ring, so his head kind of bobs back and forth. It's not actually like a trembler because it's not on a spring. Let's see if we can zoom in and I can show you. Yeah, you can kind of see it there, right? It's like a loop. It's like a loop, see? And it just can kind of go back and forth like that on the loop. I love him, and he is, he's got a lot of attitude. Look at that. Look at his eyes, right? Cabochon eyes. He's missing a little bit of his gold tone. I know this is cheap as can be. I just love it. I love the bow, and I love his front legs are so long. I thought this was really cute. So I'm going to put him with my cat pin collection just because I didn't have one like him. I know it's a cheapo, but I really like this cat. So here is a very interesting antique bracelet, and it's not marked. I can tell you this is silver for sure. And this looks like it's some sort of a Middle Eastern thing. I know sometimes these are called story bracelets, but I'm not sure exactly what this is. So interestingly, some of these spots have the black and some it has lost the black. But when you look through a loop, this part is etched in, and then this part here, it's like there's stuff in it, and it isn't just paint. It looks almost like a clay kind of a thing in there, and so a lot of that has broken away through the years. But I think this is very unusual, very old, very interesting, and I would love to know more information about this. What I really like about this, well, that hinge is super cool. Hey, is that a mark? Wait a second. Let me just see if that's a mark. Hold on. So I don't see anything. That could have been a mark, you know, many, many decades ago that's just worn away. One thing I will tell you, if you could feel this, it's very, very, very smooth. And so I think somebody wore this a lot for many, many years. And I think this is a very interesting and charming antique bracelet. Here's a great pair of nice bright red earrings. Some really nice AB rhinestones here as well. Very nice rich red colors. And this is signed by a company called Beau Jewels. That's a pretty desirable name brand. And these are clip-on earrings. And I thought that these would be really cute. What I like about these is you wear them sort of up your ear. See, they clip like that on your lobe. Like a lot of earrings in the 50s did that. You know, a lot of women really did have short hair back then, so this would really show up. And a lot of the jewelry, like in the 50s, is very brightly colored. You know, it was post World War II. It was happy times. I really do enjoy that whole look to this era of jewelry. So look at this old thing. This is pretty nice. I think this is probably celluloid. And these are some beautiful rhinestones in here. So this is a pin, obviously. It does screw off. I don't know why there's two holes. There's one there and then there's one there. I don't know why that is. Anyhow, maybe some repair has been done to it, but it does screw in and out. So I thought this was pretty interesting, and I love that very, very vivid red color. Just a cool vintage item, I think. Here's a sweet little old mother of pearl pin. How pretty is this? This has some nice age to it. This could be from the 1910s or the 1920s, possibly. Isn't that pretty? Somebody likely loved this very, very much. So classy, right? Just sort of a classic look, not over the top. Not like this next item I'm going to show you. Watch this. So I thought this was pretty wild. First of all, it makes no kind of sense. So there's frogs and then sort of dangly things and then bumblebees, and it's weird and just sort of crazy. Not old. How do we know it's not old? Right there. Now, of course, you can't only go by that because this could always have been a replacement, but this isn't old, and it's, I don't know. I just thought it was so crazy. matching earrings, of course, because you have to have your bee and frog earrings also. Yeah, anyway. I don't know why I got this. I think I just lost my mind for a minute. Really, you got to admit, it's different. So the 80s are back with a vengeance, and I chose these earrings. I could not think of this designer name, not the designer, the artist name rather, who did paintings like this. And I couldn't figure it out for the longest time. Google Lens was no help. I was pulling my hair out, and then it came to me. The artist's name is Keith Haring, and he made cityscapes like this. And his art had that heart with those lines around it, and lots of bright colors. But the best part is these are BEREBI earrings, and this has a real collector's market. These are obviously screaming 1980s earrings, and I think that these might have a little bit of value. I couldn't find any comps, so I am not sure, but I could see somebody really rocking these earrings. Edgar BEREBI was in business from the 80s to the early 2000s, and his stuff was only put out as limited editions. So I think these are very special. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name. Here's an interesting little piece. Oh, see, in her shop, she was trying to get only $8 for this. So I thought this had some charm to it. This is just an early plastic, and these flowers are shell, and I think this is kind of charming. I really did like that one. I got these two weirdlings. I don't know what in the world these are. It's clearly, this is an animal because there's the 2 feet and there's the tail. I don't know if that's like a nose, and these are floppy ears. It's almost like this is all twisted wrong, and I'm afraid to twist it back because I'm not sure what I'm doing or what that's supposed to be. But it looks like a balloon animal, right? And then look at this one. What the? Isn't that weird? This one has a nice curly tail. Super cool. So here's a dress clip that I'm pretty wild about. This is amazing. I know it's missing stones. So how great is this? This is just a great kind of deco piece. It's missing a couple of stones. Darn it, but I don't think that should be a problem. I love this piece. Make sure I don't stab myself. That's pretty amazing, I think. Nice and old and very lovely. Here is another beautiful 1940s pin. These cab stones are just beautiful. Look at that emerald green. And it is marked sterling right there. I love this one. Isn't that pretty? Such a lovely design. I love this. What do you think? That's a good one, right? Look at the rhinestones. So interesting. That one's a great one. So if you've been watching my videos for any amount of time, you already know that I have like cufflinks coming out of my ears. I don't know why I bought these. I thought they were really cool. I love the jewel tones. And yeah, I don't know. One thing I don't need is more cufflinks, but nevertheless, I got those. Here's a lovely pair of vintage earrings. I love pink jewelry, and I just thought these were so very beautiful. They're signed Leru right there. It's yet another jewelry company. And these are desirable. These are the sort of ear climber design. So you would wear this, you know, there is a left and a right, and it would kind of climb up your ears a little bit. These are beautiful. I love pink jewelry, and I love this shade of pink. I love like the both shades of pink. Those are really stunning. So here's another little cross pendant. How pretty is this? Look at the rhinestones in it. Isn't that nice? Closed backs, not real silver, but I thought this was very pretty. I love this. It's very blingy. Isn't that nice? Look at this lovely antique item. How beautiful is this? It is a pin, and it looks like somebody tried to fix it right there. Just a makeshift little thing here, a little safety pin. I am getting a whole bunch of old jewelry together to bring to a jeweler who's a friend of mine. I'm going to see if he can fix that. I'm sure he can, and hopefully he can use old metal in it. He might even be able to use that safety pin metal part. I don't know. So this is carved celluloid. Celluloid was a very early plastic, and it had some drawbacks. The biggest drawback is that it was very flammable. It was also very fragile. They made things like children's toys out of it and jewelry and some other things, some dresser items and so on. It really caught on in the 1920s with the dresser sets that were celluloid. But I think this is so beautiful. I love this filigree work, and it's just so old-fashioned, and yeah, I think it's beautiful. Look at this movement. I love jewelry that has movement. And I just love everything about this. I love this. So let's talk a little bit about this mesh necklace. This is a beautiful piece, and it really does lay beautifully on the neck. It has like kind of a cowl neck thing. So the first thing I was wondering if this was possibly from the 70s. It's kind of got that disco look to it. So the closure is snaps, which I think is very interesting. Super cool way to close it. And I noticed after the fact, there is a problem right here, which again, I think my jeweler, I think all the pieces are there, and I think he's just going to be able to clip that together for me. I sure hope so. So where someone would be grabbing it would be right here to fasten it, to pick it up out of the jewelry box. And I hope you can see this, but this is all shiny gold, and this is all worn away right here. So that's how we would know right away if we're just, you know, somewhere in the wild and you don't want to pull out your loop and look like too much of a professional, or maybe you don't have time. So I knew that, like I said, real gold was probably not really going to slip through the goalie with her, just because she did own a jewelry store. But I did get that little piece of gold. But this is, I guess, just like for the future, for your future information. A lot of times you can see this with your naked eye. If you looked at this through a loop, you could really see it. But you can see that's not shiny like the rest of it. Anyway, this is a very interesting and a very cool kind of a bib necklace thing. And it lays beautifully on the neck. So I'm going to see if he can fix that up, and I will probably be putting this up on my page. But very interesting item. I love the feel of it. So I got this very beautiful Victorian piece right here. So buckles were a big motif in Victorian times, and I am going to show my Victorian jewelry to you at some point. So this is likely very late Victorian. It might be really just after the Victorian time. That pin's a little bit short, right? And this hinge is a little bit thin right here. But this is antique regardless, and I think it's really lovely. This was likely a sash pin. And I think the design on this is really beautiful. So this is the last piece that I got from my first visit at the jewelry store, which she doesn't own anymore and she doesn't want anymore. And I am going to go back again. And I did already go back. So I do have at least 2 times this amount of jewelry that I'm showing you today for my next show, and who knows what I'm going to pick up on Monday, so stay tuned for that. But this is just an incredibly beautiful antique brooch. It's very light. Those are real seed pearls. I'm not sure if that stone is real or not. It might be. It might be a garnet. And here's the construction, so we'll take a look. Right, there's your C-clasp. Your pin is nice and long. It does go out longer than the piece itself. And this nice big tube hinge as well. So how beautiful is that? Well, thank you so much for coming, everybody. I hope you're going to be interested in following my adventure and seeing what other jewelry I get from her. And also, I'll try to keep you guys updated also on the Scrimshaw bracelet. But if you know anything at all about that bracelet, please let me know. And I also just want to point out, by the way, again, you can see it with the naked eye. You don't even need your loop. It is not real gold. It is gold plated. And there you can see it's not only worn away, it's actually sort of peeling away. So I don't care if it's real gold or not real gold. This is a stunning piece of jewelry. Anyhow, thank you so very much for coming to my jewelry show today. I hope that you will stay tuned and follow me through the series. Thanks, everybody. Please hit the subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you liked. And I hope to see you soon. Cheers, everybody.